Welcome to another Döhle coffee break. My name is Ben Geary. I'm the Fleet Statutory Manager, and today I'm joined by Sean Langford, who is one of our company's hazardous material experts. We've put together this coffee break because mainly there's a concern from experts that the yacht industry is behind the curve of getting their IHM certification in place by the deadline of the 1st of January 2021. So my first question to you, Sean, is what is IHM and where does it come from?
So IHM stands for Inventory of Hazardous Material, and basically its goal is at the end of a ship's life, wherever it goes to be taken apart, it will be recycled. That company that's recycling it will need this inventory of hazardous material in order to determine its plan on going forward and recycling the vessel. So this has all come from the IMO, which also from that stems the Hong Kong Convention, which is yet to come into effect with all of this. But as of the 1st of January 2021, the European ship recycling regulations will be taking effect on this.
And how is this affecting the yacht industry?
So it won't affect any yachts underneath 500 gross tons. Any vessel over 500 gross tons, they'll have to comply with this.
And there seems to be some confusion in the industry of who this actually complies with. So is it anyone entering European ports? Is it only European flag vessels? Is it even down to which class society you're using? There seems to be a lot of confusion. Can you help clarify some of that?
Yeah, basically, in a nutshell, the way to look at it is any vessel within European waters that is going to any port within Europe will need to comply with this. They'll need to have an IHM certificate.
Okay, and so what is the process to be able to get for a yacht to get the IHM certificate?
So what they'll need to do is get a professional in, to a hazmat professional, to come on board and assess their vessel. This can be done through Döhle. The process of that would be to get on board, do a pre-survey plan document and a risk assessment of the vessel. Once they're on board, a survey by the hazardous material professional will take place, and they'll be collecting samples of material that are on board, plus going through all the hazardous materials that are on board as well, like the inventory that's on there. After that, once they've gathered all the samples, they'll then be sent off to a dedicated laboratory where these will all be tested. Once that's done, that will be returned to the hazmat professional, and then that will then go into the process of updating the actual hazmat folder. Once that's all been done, that will then be approved by a class, and then that's it. You'll have the IHM already.
That seems an awful lot of steps, and I imagine it's quite time consuming.
It is. So for example, one of the steps, as in sending the materials to the laboratory for testing, this could take up to 3 weeks. Yeah. So all of this put together, you're looking at about 3 to 4 months.
Okay. And also it seems quite complicated. I mean, I've looked at some of the materials that are in part 1, and I wouldn't even know where a yacht's supposed to start with collecting this information.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why you really do need a hazmat professional on board. They know what they're looking for. Döhle have selected surveyors, hazmat surveyors, that know how to look for this material on a yacht. You can imagine that there's so many other ships, cruise ships, container ships, for example, which are completely different to the way a yacht is built, and we certainly selected who we think would be a bit more yacht friendly towards this.
Okay, and I've spoken to an awful lot of captains recently, and one of their concerns is how long are these guys going to be on board, and how intrusive is it going to be to their yacht?
Yeah. We would say at max about 2 days the sampling would take place. As far as being intrusive, they're taking samples the size of a fingernail.
Okay.
So the stuff that they're taking away won't be very much, but also they're professionals. They know how to get these samples without ripping apart the boat. It's usually going to be in the technical areas of the vessel as well, so they're not going to be ripping apart an owner's suite.
Okay, and obviously you were saying it could be on board for 2 days. We were talking it could be a 3-month process. If some of these yachts haven't started anything yet, is there anything they can do now that would assist?
Yeah, exactly. What the boat should do is start to get a designated IHM person on board, one of the crew members. And what they can do to help to speed up this process of when the time comes is start collecting all the data sheets that they have on board for all the material that they have as well. So any machinery, any loose items on board, just start collecting as much information as possible. Get a folder together, IHM folder, and then just start collecting all of that together. And that will really help that hazmat professional when they come on board to have a look at what they've done so far.
Okay, and when you finish this process, what should the yacht hold on board? What should they keep?
So there'll be two things. They'll have the actual IHM, the actual inventory of hazardous material. They'll have also the IHM certificate. They'll need this going forward throughout the year. This will be updated every year. And also if they ever go into a shipyard, for example, they'll need to keep this updated constantly. So that designated person will be constantly updating this whenever there's a change to the vessel.
Okay, thank you, Sean. That kind of ends our coffee break. I mean, this is another coffee break that Döhle put together to try and assist the industry. You know, there's an awful lot going on at the moment. IHM impacts on the 1st of January 2021. It's not just the yacht industry this affects. It affects, you know, the passenger ship world. It affects the container ships. It affects oil tankers, anything that's going into port in a European port. So time is of the essence, which is kind of why we've put this coffee break together, and we've asked the questions that we've been asked and the industry are asking. You've got a short amount of time. You know, we were talking earlier, or Sean was talking earlier about a 3-month window. That's on a good day. That's not if there's a delay in the approved labs or there is a delay with the class society. So even if you don't pick Döhle and you start this out, our main concern is that you start this now. As Sean highlighted, you know, Döhle's done a lot of research into this. There are an awful lot of IHM experts out there. What we've tried to do, along with the app that we've chosen, is find yacht-friendly people and yacht-friendly apps. The apps we've got works with Apple as well as Android, and it's very easy to use. But also the people are very much aware of how the yacht world works. So, and also the timeframes that you've got. Again, I hope you find this coffee break useful. If you've got any queries or questions, our details are at the end as always. And yeah, maybe we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.